Hello, greetings. I do not know how this video is going to start because I have not prepared a script, which therefore also means I do not know how this video is going to end because I have also not prepared a script. Bear with. Also, I hope you appreciate the somewhat ominous lighting that I've got going on here. I don't know exactly why it's quite so ominous. I think it's because I need more fill light from over there, but I only actually have two lights at the moment. The light that's on up there, and then the thing that's giving me that nice little glow on the side there. What I could do is turn the main house light, very theatrical of me, the house light. I could turn that on, but then you'd get this kind of like yellow wash against the back wall, and I don't particularly like that yellow wash. So this is what we're working with today. This video is going to be a lot more chill than the last few videos, which were very kind of high intensity. I just wanted to have a little chat. I wanted to say some thoughts, have some thoughts and say them in a video, which is very much like the way I used to do YouTube. I don't know. There's something nice about that. I kind of want to do that again. Probably not frequently, but yeah, occasionally. I also kind of feel like I'm giving ASMR vibes with how gently and calmly I'm speaking compared to the other videos. So this is kind of like a bit of a check-in for this year and YouTube videos and plan and all of that, because I'm not really sure exactly what to do next. Like, I'm very committed to this trying to get on the partner program thing, but I'm not sure exactly what videos to be making. And I think it's because the focus of my life is different now to what it was last time I was making videos. And I think videos I used to make were all very film related, and a lot of the videos I've made this year have also been very film related. I mean, like, the most viewed stuff on my channel is all short films, but I don't know if that's the place that I'm putting my attention at the moment. And I also don't think it's the most useful place to be putting my attention. Just to talk about this from a slightly different angle, I think I've always made videos for a younger version of myself. And obviously a lot of people out there are similar to me and have similar experiences, and so therefore the stuff that I'm putting in the videos is useful to them. But I think the audience is like my younger self. And when I was like 19, 20, 21, 22, that kind of age, my younger self was like my teenage self, because the version of me that was before like 14, 15 years old didn't feel like it was me. They hadn't sort of matured into personhood yet. Not saying that about all 12, 13-year-olds, but like for me. I think when I was like 20, it was very easy to make videos for just like any younger version of myself. The 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old versions of me were all pretty similar. And like they were all interested in the same things, and they all needed to hear the same stuff. So a lot of what I was doing was synthesizing the things that I was learning and putting them together into videos that a younger version of me would have liked and would have been interested in and would have watched. I think that some of the stuff that I've made this year is very much still aimed at the like 18-year-old version of me, the like 17, 18-year-old version. And I feel very distant from that person now. I think that I would be better off making videos for a version of me from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Those versions of me don't really have much that they can learn from the current version of me about filmmaking. And this is going to sound like self-deprecating and stuff, and it's not really meant to be. But I think when I was like 22, 23, which I guess would have been 2019, 2020, I was doing a lot of film work and I was learning a lot, and it was very easy to put that stuff into videos. But now I think, given that I had this really difficult year in 2021 and then was very much recovering from that in 2022, I don't think the valuable advice that I have to give the 2019, 2020 versions of myself is about filmmaking. I feel like the stuff that I learned over the last 2 years, I learned a lot more about how to pick myself up from a very dark, down place, how to find motivation and how to recover and keep going. I found out more about that stuff than I did about filmmaking in the last 2 years. And if I think about the younger version of myself, if I think about the 2019 version of myself, he was barreling towards the crisis that I had at the very beginning of 2021, and he didn't even know it. I kind of feel like I want to make videos for that version of myself, version of myself from 2019, 2020 into 2021 that was either thriving but setting himself on a path for burnout and depression and just general bad feelings, or the version of me that's just had this massive crash, like emotional crash, and is kind of working out how to put the pieces back together. And I think that thought of that's the videos that I want to be making resonates pretty deeply with how I feel about looking at the videos I have made over the last couple of months, because a lot of the videos, like the stuff about Hitchcock, the stuff about the film that I shot in this flat that took way too long to finish, a lot of that stuff was learning that I was doing in 2021 or at the end of 2020. So it kind of feels not out of date, just like stale to me, which I think is part of the reason why I look back on those videos and go like, they're fine, but I'm not like, hell yeah, I'm glad I made that. Whereas the what to do when you're having a bad day video, that's a bit more of a like, hell yeah, I'm glad I made that. That's stuff that I knew some of a couple of years ago, but I couldn't really solidify into a single kind of thing. Like I couldn't make an argument for that stuff. I couldn't talk about it intelligently. I couldn't outline it into a process, which I think I can now, in the same way that me from 2 or 3 years ago could outline a process for a lot of the filmmaking stuff. It's also pretty telling that the filmmaking stuff that I am proud of making videos about is the stuff that's fresher. It's the stuff that's more relevant. So the thing about the 48-hour film festival that I did last November, that feels very much like a thing that is relevant in the here and now. Like me from 2 or 3 years ago could really learn some stuff from that experience that I had, and it feels like I'm providing value that I've recently obtained to a person who is like a younger version of me. Because like, imagine if I had that video to watch before I did the one that I did in 2020. Like, the stuff I learned this year is incredibly useful stuff that would have benefited me from the past. I think my point is that it's pretty easy to make stuff that just feels like I'm recycling the things that I was doing a few years ago, and the things that actually fill me with energy to make them and try and make them well, in terms of YouTube videos at the very least, is stuff that I have recently learned that would have helped a version of me that is younger. And I think that a lot of that stuff is not going to be filmmaking stuff. Some of it is, probably, but probably not all of it. And this is part of the problem, is that I don't yet know exactly what it is that would be most useful, because I do want to grow this channel. I don't want this channel to just be for just a younger version of me. I kind of feel like it would be difficult for me to make a video unless it was useful to a younger version of me, but I do want it to be stuff that a lot of people can gain from and a lot of people can learn from. And like, I want to fulfill that little dream of mine to be able to make at least a tiny bit of money from the AdSense on these videos. Like, that's incredibly meaningful to me. And I also want to continue working at being a better editor, because that's a skill set that I value, and it's something that I feel like I can provide to other people. And it's something that I can like hang a lot of the rest of my life on, getting good at editing. I feel it's an interesting thing, taking pride in the work that I put in this channel, because in the first video I made this year, I talked about I want to not be embarrassed by the work that I put out this year. And I think that's good. That's a good minimum. But I think I want to be proud of some of the work that I put out on YouTube this year. And I'm proud of the bad day video. I'm proud of the ideas technique video, although there's some stuff about it that I don't like. I'm proud of those videos. I'm really proud of the video about shame that I did last year. Like creatively speaking, I'm proud of that. I had a bunch of interesting ideas and I executed on those ideas. The thing is, I just want to make stuff that people are actually going to watch. And I know I can't think about that too much, but like it would be pretty easy to make a bunch of videos that are too personal, that are too much like just for me and are completely inaccessible to anyone else. And I wonder if the shame video is one of those. Also, I don't want to overshare. Like, part of the reason I'm so proud of the shame video is because of how personal it was to me. I don't think I can put as much of myself on the internet as some other people do. Like, I have done in the past, but I don't think that's actually good for me. I think having a bit of separation is what I need. And that's not to say anything against all the people who do make very personal YouTube videos. Like, I value that stuff a lot, and it's very useful to see a lot of people's struggles and hear the bad shit they've gone through, but I don't know if that's for me. So yeah, it's a weird mix of stuff. Something that fills me with a lot of energy is I told myself pretty early on in this year, like, I want to run out of advice to give by the halfway point of the year. I make a video every week and run out of advice to give, and I feel like that's a good aim. That's a good thing to aim for. I just don't know what advice that's going to be. This is a very all over the place video, but I have recently started reading In the Blink of an Eye by Walter Murch, which is very good. Well, I say that. I've read like a couple of chapters and it's been very good so far. But it does open with this little preface about advice and about how people give advice based on the advice that they need to hear. And they used an example about like volcanoes and glaciers. Like, if you have a volcano inside you, to balance that out, the advice that you will give and the advice that you will want to receive is restraint. So you're a naturally very excitable person. You'll be like, the most important thing is restraint. But if you're naturally a very kind of calm, gentle, patient person, then the advice that you're going to be giving is like, the most important thing is excitement and passion, because those are the things that you need to push yourself into. Those are the things that don't come naturally to you. And some of the worst outcomes that you can have in life is taking advice that isn't right for you. Like, if you are an excitable person and you take the advice to be passionate and excitable, potentially you're going to burn yourself out. And if you take advice to be calm and thoughtful when you are a naturally calm and thoughtful person, then you might not ever achieve anything, because you might not get to actually doing things, because your sort of calm nature will take over. I think I need to make sure that I'm clear in my videos that, like, this is just stuff that's important to me, discoveries that I've made about myself, and that we're all human, and so a lot of this stuff might apply to other people, but, you know, it might not apply to you. In fact, it probably won't apply to a lot of people, because I am potentially autistic. Like, I'm on the waiting list to be tested for ADHD. I had a kind of not quite official diagnosis for Asperger's syndrome when I was 10. I never actually got the piece of paper. I just got like referred a bunch of times to be like, anyways, this is entirely tangential. So yeah, sometimes that like saps the motivation a little bit, because I'm like, this advice, it won't be good for everyone. But then there are loads of advice channels out there. There's loads of people giving advice about filmmaking and loads of people giving advice about life, and they do pretty well for themselves, and they help people. Like, they do help a lot of people. There are a couple of channels that I love that have really helped me over the last 3-6 months, maybe even a year. I think I need to not get discouraged, because not all advice is universal. So the final thoughts on all of this, I guess I need to wrap this all up. I like making videos like this sometimes. Like, I know the aim is to make things more like well-produced, flashy, kind of well-edited, well-put-together, well-shot, high energy, but I think it's really valuable to just talk to a camera. Other upshots, I think this channel might move away from being about filmmaking stuff to more... oh, God, the way I'm sitting is hurting my back a little bit. Yeah, a channel about how the way I'm sitting is hurting my back. That's what this is going to be. A channel that's a bit more self-helpy, but self-help feels a bit like a dirty word to me. Thanks for watching this very long rambly video. Thanks for sticking around. I've got some exciting stuff coming up in this year. It's going to be weird and interesting, and it's going to be a lot of change for me. So it's just going to be a question of like rolling with the punches and seeing where that all takes me. So thank you for watching. And if you want more talky videos that are this chill, there aren't many of them on this channel. But potentially more in future if people like this one. I am really proud of the last few videos that I made. The one about having a bad day is really good. The idea technique one, I had a lot of fun with that. I'm currently in the process of making the one about the 48-hour film festival. I've not finished editing that yet, but I feel like that one is going to be one I'm pretty proud of too. So if you've not seen those yet, please do go watch them, and I'll see you in future videos.